No. No, he has not sauntered in yet. Okay, so we're missing Dave, and I know Steve is en route. Is that right? Okay, all right. So did you guys get a chance to review the minutes?
Very long minutes. Intense. Amy gets a prize for doing all that.
She deserves one.
Is this an Amy?
Oh, yeah,
that-
yeah, and she's online listening, so.
Yeah.
She is in attendance.
Hi, Amy. Okay, so when anybody's ready, we need a motion to approve the minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Second.
Eric Simonson seconded. So if you guys can make sure you're loud when you talk, because I listened to a little bit of the recording the last time,
Out there.
and it's there, but it's really quiet.
It's really faint.
So speak up, project.
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, now I can hear you too.
All
Yeah,
right,
it's that direction.
Okay.
Which is why I
all right.
wanted you down.
So Larry made the motion. Eric seconded. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
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 Got them. Thank you. The first order of business on here should be election of officers. That's not on
Gosh,
my,
I printed the wrong one. I'm really not on the ball. I apologize about that.
hey, David's here.
I nominate Linda.
For what?
I don't know.
For what?
For everything, she was trying to be here, so that she wouldn't get elected on anything. And
And that's really the
and
only
she,
thing
her
that
flight
changed.
got canceled.
Okay,
Oh, she's there.
so you guys,
Oh.
we're gonna go, the third item here is election of officers. We have to do this every January. I'm willing to step aside if anybody else wants to be chair.
I nominate Lori as chair.
Yay, a
Experience.
second.
Well,
Oh.
there's, Larry, just for whatever it's worth, there's a difference between willing to step aside versus just refusing.
Yeah, this is
So,
true.
You know, I've seen people do that before too, so whatever you're comfortable with.
Okay, so you've made a nomination, Larry.
Larry has made a nomination for Lori to be chair.
All right, and Linda seconded. Any discussion? Anybody else? All those in favor?
Aye.
Keep up the good work. It's appreciated.
Yeah. Okay, we need a vice chair.
I nominate Linda. She now has experience.
That's right, you do. You
What?
accept that?
I do not hear you.
She hears you fine.
Do we have a second? Larry has nominated Linda. Do we have a second?
Second. Oh, got a second. Sure.
Eric has seconded. Any other nominations? Of course not. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous, Linda.
All right,
Okay.
I'm ready this time.
Updated agenda, that's the revised one, so if you guys want to keep that for your records or what have you. I apologize about that.
Okay. So no public hearings, we're down to committee business, which had election of officers, so I took that up. Okay, so. There he is, he's not that late. Cool, we're just starting on the Junction House or the Roberts House update. And Steve, I will turn to you and ask you if you have anything updated there.
On what?
Roberts House.
Yeah. As we all
Catch your
know,
breath, catch your breath. Okay.
as we all know, the first grant I applied for failed. I'm gonna, what's the lady's name with the grants, Becky?
Kimberly.
Kimberly. She emailed me and wants to meet with me So I'll do that. And then Tony Perry and Dan Williams would like to meet with me and discuss El Pomar possibilities. And Dan Williams, if you don't know, has taken, what do you call its place on El Pomar's board?
Norm Steen.
Norm Steen's.
So Dan has taken Norm's
Yeah.
space, so we do have a voice on
Yes.
help from our board.
And
Cool.
the way I understand it, Dan will now have 5 pet projects he could apply for
As, because he's on the board,
because he's on the
he
board.
gets 5.
So I'm gonna be gone for the next week and a half or so. So whenever I get back, I'll, have lunch with those guys and we'll get some strategy going.
Because the first step is still asbestos removal.
Yes,
And you pretty much already have the information in the grant.
yes.
And Kimberly will be part of the process, maybe with El Pomar.
Possibly.
Okay.
I don't know what her intentions are yet.
Well, and then back to the one with the state that we just got rejected on. I've tried to, Kimberly's out this week due to a family funeral, so she wasn't available. And of course the holidays make things a little crazy. But within the last 2 weeks, I tried pinging her again to figure out if she had managed to get a meeting set for like Steve and myself to visit with the folks at the state to get what the review comments were on that particular grant. So I've not seen anything come back from her that has that meeting set up, because I do think those comments would be helpful to us in general, whether it's for reapplying for this project, a different aspect of this project, or some other project entirely. What can we learn from this experience?
So you're still trying to get those.
As far as I know, trying to get that set up.
What's she doing on there?
She's attending the meeting.
She's in New York. She's in New York.
Philadelphia,
I think cocktail hour has already started, right?
in the other room it has.
Oh, it is. We just there.
So you were trying to say something, Larry?
I want to say, we need to know,
Yes.
were we really close, or were we way off base? I mean, was it just marginal things that maybe could be addressed?
Or how do we improve our
But if it's
applications?
major things, I mean, like, you're in the well, we can't help you, that type of thing. How deep, there's a rejection.
Well, I actually felt better when I seen how many applicants there were and how many were successful. It wasn't quite half, but only about half were awarded. There was something like, I'm gonna say 22 applicants and only 12 were successful.
No, it's competitive grants are competitive for a reason.
Yeah.
Once in a while, we're lucky and slide in there, and Steve has done well, but once in a while, we come up against.
Yeah. You gotta strike out once in a while, so
If you don't play, you don't
that's right.
make a hit either,
That's right.
so,
That's true.
yeah.
That's true.
No, so I'm looking forward to seeing what those comments are, and as soon as we have them, we'll be sharing them with the rest of the committee as best we can, so.
So that's all I know
Thank
so
you,
far.
thank you. Okay, any updates, any changes right now with Templeton? I don't,
I don't have anything. I didn't get a chance to really look and read through the plan. I brought it with me, so just want to make sure you know we have it. And I don't, CJ, did you get a chance to look through it either? Yeah, because CJ had some lovely time off for the holidays with his family, so it's been a little thin this month.
Well, I read through it and she did a good job. Linda did on putting that together, so. So we have a game plan anyways.
have we?
Hey, Karen,
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am.
can I be included in that meeting when you go over the grant review?
I will ask Kimberly to see if we can include you. I'll ask her. Because she's the one coordinating.
And on Templeton, I lost my train of thought. Oh, I just wrote the professor up at Mines again, just to keep continuity going with him, and I reminded him of Templeton. So I just did that, what day is today? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yesterday, I just did that. So,
Because it's on his horizon as well as it's on our work plan to hopefully that we'll be the recipients of that effort by those students, right? Okay, cool, Steve. And in the minutes from last time, we indicated that we'd get a copy of the plan, right? Just, so that still has to happen. I didn't see it.
Yeah, no,
No, we haven't.
yeah,
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay. All right, cool. All right, anything else, guys? Until we good? Okay. Preservation plan. I don't think we've
I
made
don't-
any
I
progress.
don't think we have anything we really need to hit on this. You know, the way this agenda works, we want to make sure we have everything on this agenda to make sure, you know, it's first in our minds, so.
it's our reminder to-do list.
Right. So
Okay. So it's on our front burner.
that's on our front
We
burner
just
for
haven't
sure,
cooked it yet.
For sure.
that's what your 2-year plan or 3-year plan or something like that?
It's the preservation.
Yeah, the
Yes.
inaugural preservation
Preservation
plan, since we
plan.
don't have one.
Okay.
That we talked to.
Lindsay,
Lindsay was on our Zoom meeting with us,
September, was it?
September or October. She might have get pushed to October for some reason, and telling us that we could either apply for a grant to get some help with it, we could do it in-house. But it's been on this committee's plate for 24 years.
Well, you don't want to rush.
Well, I would hate to do that.
Hey, the good news is after 23 years, we've got it forefront on the
At
agenda.
least it's on the agenda. This is true.
Is that the thing that I sent some suggestions in on or
Yes.
something several months ago?
Yes, and I had asked you if you'd had any experience with preservation plans, and you said yes.
Mhm.
And so we wanted to pull in Lindsay and see what was available to us from the state, if I remember correctly. And then, is the ball kind of in you guys' court then to figure out what we want to do, how we want to approach it, or what's going to be the trigger mechanism here?
yeah, I think the ball's in Karen and I's court to actually just put it on the agenda so we can have a conversation about it, because
Well,
we have two options really. One option is to do it all in-house, which would be, you know, no outside entities working on that document. So that would be all of us contributing in this room. And then the other option is to apply for a grant with the state. And I think she said you could apply up to $25,000, which would cover a consultant
to do it.
that would come in and do the research and, you know, help do the document. So those are the kind of the two options that
That
we
would be
have.
a grant through who?
The state,
The
through the CLG.
SHF?
it's all the state historic fund. They've
Okay.
got different
Little entity.
types of grants, so I think it falls in the non-competitive one since it's a max of 25, but that's,
Do you guys
Yeah.
think it's a match, or would it be a full?
She said there's multiple versions of that. So it just depending, and I remember she did offer, like, once we get a little farther down the road, like, you know, we say, hey, we want to do a grant and we want to pursue this, we can have another meeting with her and she can lay out all those options, but like, you know, what's the matching ones, or, you know, just a check for 25 grand would be nice with no strings, right? That happens, doesn't
But
it?
it depends though, and that's what I'm leading up to. Would that
Yeah.
prohibit you from another grant for something that you would
Sure.
want that you now can't apply for?
Yeah.
Can in-house do it and save that grant opportunity for something else?
Yeah, that's a great question. We have example preservation plans that she sent us to, that, like, you know, some consultant did it, and then which Minturn,
the town of Minturn.
yeah, they did it all in-house, and we have a copy of theirs, and yeah, they did a great job with it.
Is it possible for us to do like a 1-year plan, and if we see that we drastically failed, then the next year go through get a grant, have somebody professional do it?
Are these plans typically just a year, or are they?
I don't think so. I think they're longer, even like a comprehensive plan for the city is, they tell you 5 years. In reality, most small communities, they run a 10-year timeframe. So I imagine that it's something that's probably gonna be in place for at least 5 years, if not 10 would be my guess, before you'd wanna come in and like update it.
It's the kind of document that takes a lot of work, so it's not like you'd wanna, put that much time and effort in every single year.
Well, I don't mean every single year, I mean, just the inaugural one.
Right.
And if we've seen that it could have been way, way better done by a professional, then the following year do it. But all the ones, I've been involved with 4 of them, and they were 5-year plans, so over 20 years worth, and they were all 5-year plans. But I don't see why in-house can't do it, to tell you the truth. But that's up to you guys.
But does the in-house people have the time and the wisdom to do all this?
The in-house people are looking at the rest of the team that would be doing a lot of the work to help us.
I know you're busy as it is, and how much free time does
Yeah.
Karen have? So my thought is, go see what, if we have to get a grant, and if we have to miss another grant, but I think we should go for the grant, but give it a whirl.
But I think we should understand if we're sacrificing something.
Right.
If we were to take them up on their grant offer, would it negate the opportunity to maybe apply for something else? But how about this? Could you guys send us the Minturn
Yeah.
preservation plan as an example so that we can see what theirs looks like?
What we're getting into.
We can totally do that, and we can run down some of those questions. And the good news is staff's not gonna run out and willy-nilly apply for a grant without you all, so it's not like we're gonna accidentally lose a chance at
No, but
something.
it's understanding
So-
what the
But yeah,
options
well,
are with Lindsay and
we can-
company.
We can run down some of that information.
It seems to me, and I can't remember, so don't hold me to this, but it seems to me like it would take us like 3 or 4 or 5 months maybe to start and produce a finished document, but I can't remember for sure. But there's a lot to them for sure.
I think they can be quite comprehensive, and if we do our homework, it's gonna involve the Pass Historical Society, and it's gonna be comprehensive. And we probably would have to look into the comp plan and see what components in the comp plan might overlap into that. And then we probably have to look at the city's last strategic plan to see if there's anything in there that could tie together as well.
Yeah, I
There-
agree with that. yeah.
There is a chapter in the comp plan that, I think it's entitled Cultural Resources.
I think it's chapter 13.
It's at the-
It's the last one.
Yeah, I
Remember
think-
we read it.
That, I
Yes,
think
we
that's
did.
the one that ties back into valuing our history. and-
That's the one that this group participated in.
Well, I know one thing, I was guesstimate that, I'm gonna say like 75% of the 5-year plan was all pretty much boilerplate stuff. Like you could take Minturn and you could cut or copy and paste a ton of stuff out of their stuff that would apply to yours.
That would
No,
get
I-
us started.
Yeah, because as I say, a lot of it's just stuff that almost every place, town or county that's got a comprehensive plan will have the same language. So that's gonna help you a lot. You just gotta get your localized stuff incorporated
Well, our
into it.
Templeton stuff and our Roberts House and our Boss and any of these things woven into there.
Mhm.
Okay.
So that's what I'll do. We have a few, Midterm was the first one that came to my mind. We have a few other ones in our files, so I'll just sit through those. We'll send those out, so maybe next meeting, then we can have a more educational conversation about that preservation plan.
And the pros and cons.
The
How do we
biggest thing
find
I
out about
wanna,
the grant?
the biggest thing I
We'll
can,
talk to Lindsay.
all I have to do is give Lindsay a call and she can answer those questions.
Okay.
If you apply for and receive a grant for the preservation plan, does it kick you out of the running for different grants down the road? That's the biggest question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And are there time periods where, you're exempt them from applying? We just don't understand the parameters, that's all, at this point.
I'm
Okay,
pretty confident once you get one under your belt, you're gonna say, oh, that wasn't so bad. Really, seriously.
Yeah,
though.
no, I hear you.
no, that's true. Now, if there was a way we could do it and still get the money and use it.
Yeah.
Okay, I know. All right, so item E here is Bergstrom Park Reimagined, but that falls under Park and Rec with them putting together a consultant to lead that effort, right? Has any progress been made on that?
I understand that they are making headway in terms of trying to get, contracts squared away. They
They've
would
got
be,
bids?
yes, at least bids, if not more than
Yeah.
that, because of, the dollar figure, it might not need to like go to council, because there's already money in the budget, for council to approve a contract. So they did talk about that briefly this morning at DDA, and it sounds like, later this month, to potentially start to get some coordination around what meetings and stuff will look like with that. So we're just ahead of having any other real information,
Okay.
to share with you guys in terms of what that looks like.
And at what point do we get to participate?
Well, my thought is any of those meetings that they're doing that are open to the public, make sure we're there.
Oh, yeah.
And, I've not read the contract. I don't know if there's like a task force. I mean, I just don't know. But we've been very clear about wanting this board, to be a part of those conversations.
Right, and I know Aaron's clear on that and everything, it's just, so I'm gonna ask, we just go poke to see where
And I'll
we're at.
poke back.
And we're back, okay.
We're tracking it.
Okay, that's, I just don't wanna miss us being involved from the get-go, that's all.
And they don't have a idea formulated already that they wanna proceed with, and they'll just gratuitously listen to other ideas, or are they still wide open on ideas?
To the best of my knowledge, they are wide open on ideas. Because that's the whole point of doing this, is to get that engagement. Because if you go back and listen to, I guess it was this summer, when the DDA had their initial meeting or work session around reimagining Bergstrom Park, there was a variety of ideas in that room at that point. And it was from that it became clear that, okay, we really need to take a holistic look at this. You can't just come in with, hey, this is the direction we're going, everybody get on board. So that was my takeaway from that, is it is meant to pull all this together. And I know Lori's been through other planning efforts before related to Main Street and such. And so, yeah, you're probably gonna run through some of the same ground you've seen before. But you also know that sometimes it takes more than one go around for an idea to really get some traction.
And we have
by it.
all new players, so.
Yeah.
We're starting from scratch essentially from that perspective.
And from those other conversations we had middle of last year, I did, whatever Main Street documentation I was able to find in our records, I went ahead and passed that on to Cindy, the Parks and Rec director.
I wonder what you found, and I wonder what you passed on.
It was what you told me to find, and it's like reflected in the minutes in terms of.
I hope it was there.
It was
Okay,
months
cool.
ago.
Yeah, cool. I mean, because I'm in possession of all the old files for Main Street.
It's whenever
So
Sally squirreled away.
Good, perfect, happy. Okay, any other thoughts about that, guys? Is anybody tuning in to the DDA meetings on Zoom at 7:30 on Tuesday mornings?
Well, I was there, and Pat Hill was there this morning. That was the only other person that Zoomed in. Otherwise, I think they had a full board.
Okay, I do it on occasion, I missed this morning.
Yeah, this morning was thin.
Well, the weather, most likely.
I know Tony Perry, this is gonna be his last few, he doesn't have long to go on that, he's not gonna get back on again.
He resigned this morning.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Oh, he did.
Okay. So I knew that was coming, but I hate to see him go, but.
He must feel that he accomplished what he set out to, maybe. Okay, anything else, guys? Questions about? Okay. Okay, you guys put this youth poster on here, this,
Yep. And if you guys remember, we talked I think in November, somewhere around there, that we wanted to kind of shift this poster that we do every year to kind of include the school district and go a different direction. So, or not necessarily a school district, but, a youth poster contest is kind of the idea that we came up with. So I think the biggest thing that we need from you all is, so background, I spoke with Cindy, and so they do work, they do have a youth poster contest within the Parks Department. They also have a contest just for anyone. But most of the time when they have it for anyone, it's like a picture and it's just kind of like coloring per se, right? People take their own spin on it, that kind of thing. So that's a pretty narrow thing that they do. So I'm not sure if we just say, hey, draw something about history in Woodland Park. I just don't think we'd get very far with that. So if we really do want to do this, I think we need to talk about a theme or maybe an event or a building or something like that.
And the other one we didn't get a chance to dive into prior to this meeting is there's now a gal on staff in Parks and Rec that last summer did some art camps with kids, that there were like little week-long art camps. And I've not had a chance to visit with her about, is this something to like incorporate? That is there like, with that camp, is there one day where they go to History Park and then maybe do some type of project related to that? So there's possibilities, but we've not finessed much of anything or gotten.
now Colorado History Month, I think is May.
Yep.
And sometimes they have a theme, I think. I wonder if that should be looked at to tapping into. But did you guys, now you guys brought this idea up, and as a whole, you guys meaning planning brought this idea up. Are you guys thinking in terms of replacing the poster, the history poster this year that we've been doing? This would be a replacement for
Well,
that?
and when we talked about that as a board too, and I think everyone decided, yes, that would be a replacement. If we want to back off on that, I mean, that's definitely something that we can talk about.
But I thought our mission was to get the youth involved somehow.
It is, and
And we haven't
might
done
be-
much in that
Yes.
area. Maybe this is an opportunity, maybe we can find out if there's a theme for Colorado History Month, and what is it? And then present it to these people, that do the artwork.
I think last
Even though it's
year's,
after May, in conjunction with History Month.
Mhm.
Karen, when are those camps that you were talking about? When is that?
they were in the summer last year.
It's getting short to do in
Yeah.
May.
Yeah, they were like in the height of the summer.
I think that's a good way to do it.
It seems that whatever Colorado history has come up with, there may be resources there for whomever were to direct this, that you guys are thinking of.
Yeah, and may or may not work. I want to say within the last 2 years, one of the themes related more towards like minorities, or it was something that wasn't real obvious out in this particular corner of the world.
True. But
You
I
know,
wonder
so-
if it's online now. I mean, I wonder if History Colorado has already identified their theme for May, and I bet they have.
But May is less than 5 months away.
Yeah, I
so
would imagine they're thinking about it or have it.
Maybe
on the
Google it
website.
real quick.
I just Google, I'm getting National History Day, which is, the theme is rights and responsibilities.
Yeah, Colorado History Month. It's been May forever, I think, a long time. So that would mean basically we do have money in the budget for that. So would we be thinking that we would, if we were to the kids got involved somehow, some way through Parks and Rec or some specific way, are we thinking then that we would take and dedicate part of our budget or that part of our budget towards the production of that?
It was a possibility. You, having done numerous poster contests out in, on the Eastern Plains
Yeah.
around Arbor Day, it's a little, when those were third graders, it's a little interesting in some of the art that you get.
Yeah.
But it's certainly just the process as a way to bring youth in and draw attention to it. So it
Right.
might not be something that gets published, so to speak, but it's a way of promoting that. And so right now, I was gonna say that our work plan definitely talks about the youth poster contest. And our budget still shows money for a poster. So you've got a little bit of ambiguity there between the two things.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
So I think you need that definition that's been talked about. This needs some kind of incentive
Yeah.
about it as far as the budget. There's gonna be something, even if it was just a token, but something more than a cup of coffee. And, for the kid. And,
Yeah, they probably need something more than a lot.
something more than that to
Yeah.
make a point that this is a real thing. But to do that, then it's gotta be, what's it judged on? Which means what's as a theme, what's to be turned in, what's to be evaluated. Then to finalize, what's gonna be done with it? As, need some inspiration about publishing or who's gonna see it as something, at least.
And how we recognize them.
Good one, yes. How recognized is a major piece of it, that, you know, if it's at least invited to city council or as well as meeting here or advertised, noted in the Courier, things like that, that said, this is a real thing and there's some notoriety that goes with it. You gotta have a description in a program. Very irritating to go for a proposal when there's no definition of the proposal, is my experience.
And that applies with
that
Ward
happened to me,
10, so
and
I
that
agree
was-
with you.
So is it gonna, you guys just have the action to talk to whoever it is in Parks and Rec who's setting this up?
Yeah, I think it's Maria that was doing the art camps. I wanna talk to her, is my thought. Because the way it's worded in our work plan is, yeah, it's labeled youth poster contest, but it's collaborate and consult with UPHS and Parks and Rec art program to develop a youth poster contest. That's all our work plan says.
That'd be good, because maybe she's got some contacts then of how to get the word out to the kids and the type of
Yeah.
kids that might be interested in an active teacher or somebody that's in our department or whatever the case may be that gets the kid's attention.
Okay, we'll see what we can run down on that.
Okay.
I'd like to say one thing about it. You mentioned a reward or an incentive for these kids. As an alumni of Woodland Park, I've mentioned Kelly Case several times and even Cindy a couple of times, the pedestrian lights on Main Street that have the little banners on them, Merry Christmas or whatever, you know.
Mhm.
I would like to see some kind of, like the girls cheerleading team, photographs and made into banners and put on those. But in this case here, are these entries into this poster contest, I don't know what the cost would be, but if each kid's entry could be made into a poster and hung on the pedestrian lights on Main Street.
The investment for something like that, when Main Street did, I think we did 8 of those banners. And it just had words like play local, shop local, eat local. And I think it cost us like $450, $500, something like that. And
If that's a route you wanna go down, we have $800 allocated. for the
I
poster.
I think, but the price, everything's gone up, so I don't know how accurate that is. That would have been right before COVID. So I'm sure they're more, but I would think that's an option or something we could consider, since we do have some dollars, we could look into doing something like that.
Sure.
It would give some exposure and some kudos.
Okay, I do appreciate what David said about, even if it's just recognized in the newspaper, because that's kind of a big deal when you're a kid.
Oh, certainly, yeah.
To have your name in there.
Yeah.
Big deal when you're your kid's mom or dad.
That too.
I like the city council idea too, you know,
Yeah.
going from the city council and take a picture with,
Mhm.
you know,
Mayor.
Mr. Smith here and the mayor, and
Yeah.
that'd be cool.
All that.
That's where, you know, journalism has got its issues in the country, and it's like, it's hard to sell papers and stuff anymore. But as of a number of years ago, probably still true, small town papers are still thriving because it's the crime blotter, the obits, and then sports. That's the stuff that people are in the small town. That's what you're looking at. What's going on in my community? That's what sells the paper. So yeah, that kid, and it might not be sports, but
It's true.
that's what draws people in.
You might as well get on that
Yeah.
and help the kids get some recognition. Okay, so
Now,
Oh,
with
I
this-
just FYI, just did a quick search on Google, and a custom 3x2 banner for light posts, and this is totally custom. It's printed on both sides, 3x2, laminated, win hole thingies is $28.
How much?
28
So-
bucks.
I think that's an excellent idea myself. And you wouldn't have to maybe put all of the kids up there, but maybe like the top 10 or something, or the top 3 or something like that.
I think it's deceiving, but I think we're 4 foot. I think we'd have to measure.
Yeah, the 3x2 was just the standard size, but it's also available for custom size.
Okay, cool. I don't know where the banners are being stored now. They were in Sally's office.
I think that's a great incentive, though.
They were, so, but I don't know where they are now. But okay, cool. All right, we got an idea there? I'm sorry, Smitty.
That's okay.
You were gonna jump in?
When we get the specifics of what the banner or what the kids are gonna do, I can present this to a bunch of the teachers at Columbine.
Okay,
I've already talked to Michelle about it, and she thought it'd be a great idea for one of her enrichment classes.
okay.
So, you know, when we get the specifics on, you know, deadlines, what needs and everything else, I can take it to the teachers and, you know,
Well, if we run it
Present
through
it to
the
them.
schools, the timeline's gonna be maybe different. And if we run it through Parks and Rec, then we have into the summer programs, I would imagine. So I think,
Let's get information on what each of those would look like.
yeah,
Yeah, because, yeah, let's just,
okay,
yeah, let's.
perfect, yeah. We got some work to do there.
Yeah,
because
Okay,
I deal with the teachers
all
all
the
the time.
time.
yeah. No, it's kind of,
Still.
this is a fresh change from what we've talked about things before, is we didn't exactly have an in with the school district, so that's a nice addition with having you here.
And that they'd be responsive. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
And I know Michelle Studwell, when things start going on the Roberts House, she would like to do a class project.
Mhm.
You know, kids looking up the history and, you know, doing their designs and stuff. So when it is done and, you know, completed, maybe there could be a chance up in display cases or something that is the kids of the community that, you know, helped with the history facts.
Perfect.
And that idea right there all contributes to the community's interest in a particular project like this, Roberts House, that leads to grants, because that's one of the things they look for. One of the major things they look for, the grant givers, is how much community involvement is there. So something like with a bunch of kids doing things with the Roberts House, that would be very helpful for it.
Huge.
She's excited about it. They're doing it, just
All right.
Need the infos.
Great. Okay, so, CJ had an action item on the plaques where we have utilized that company before.
Yeah, the company was Erie Landmark Company, so, I just wanted to see how much we have paid in the past and what's inflation done to this, so.
Uh-huh.
So, in the past, we've allocated $300 in our budget. So in the past, that did get us a plaque. So just for an example.
Used to get us two.
used to- For the Midland Terminal Depot, we paid $217. That was out the door.
What year was that?
That was 2019. And then I exited out here real quick, but
Come on, CJ, get back.
sorry. So yeah, $300 is allocated. In 2019, we paid, what did I say, $217. If we got one today, we could have one shipped to our door for a menial fee of $380. So,
What
So,
material?
It was the exact same plaque. So it was the 7x10 rectangle with dome top, custom shaped plaque, bronze.
The bronze,
Yeah.
the ones that are, I think we have 12 or 13 around town,
Mm-hmm.
same ones. So now we're looking at probably having to budget $400 for one.
And that's just something to keep in the back of your mind for next year, because we just want that budget to, save 400. If we do end up getting a plaque this year, we were talking to Karen, like you asked, I think the email, like, well, now we can't get one. Well, we could probably,
Well, we can
Shift some
smooth
money
some
around.
money around, but here's the thing, we decided to hold off on the Roberts cabin.
right.
I wonder if it would be prudent to go ahead and purchase said plaque for Roberts cabin and go stash it in somebody's office until we're,
Stash is not good.
okay.
Yeah,
stash
If we're
is
gonna
not
buy
good.
it, we're gonna fix it.
yeah, I agree.
Well, because it's gonna, I'm just thinking we'd save ourselves some money if we
Well,
went ahead and got it.
It's amazing how things get lost, and I don't know what happened to it. It was here for the last 6 months. I've been
Okay,
looking at it.
just a
and I
thought, okay, bad idea.
No,
Okay, so at least we know now, guys, how much.
stash and
so.
store are never good.
Okay, so actually, I think, Steve did some preliminary groundwork late last summer about some bronze plaques, and this is still cheaper.
Yeah, I can't remember. Spence was the cheapest, but he was 3 something, but I don't remember what it was.
But it was, yeah.
So, and what's
I
your
have it
cost?
on- I have it on-
380.
380?
So I won't lose that contact.
Yeah, she was great over the phone, and it seems like it's a very small company, because when you call them, she's like, hey, this is Peggy, so it's kind of nice to deal with folks like that too.
Yeah. I
Well,
think Spence was cheaper though. I think he was like 340, but I'm not sure.
yeah, but that was 6 months ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, you can, yeah.
yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
All right, so we got that out of the way. Okay, the coalition. Having met with those guys in here, is there 2 of them? 4 of them? 1, 2, 3 gentlemen, I think, visited us, didn't they? And,
Or 2, it was gonna be 3.
okay. I don't know, I got the feeling they're trying to get their feet under them.
I think we might have some time to pass before we get any real work or collaboration done with them.
Well,
That's my personal opinion.
Dave Martinique, he's involved with them. And he seems to think that they need a CLG before they can do anything. And that was one of the things that we sort of kind of said, no, you don't have to be a CLG or have the CLG to move forward as an organization, because Lord knows, we moved forward with 20 years before finally succumbing to that pain in the tail. So I don't know what's driving them, and I don't know who's driving the CLG at the county level.
It could, the big thing is, I believe that CLG status opens up grant opportunities for them that are otherwise not there if they're not a CLG. And depending upon what else the commissioners want to do, like maybe the Castrolva Bridge, that may be where this is advantageous.
And I know you've been talking to, encouraging them to look at the bridge.
No, constantly.
Yeah, no, okay, so if they need help or support, I guess we made it clear that we're here to help and that we would support the bridge endeavor.
Yeah, and I passed out my business card to those guys too, so they have our information.
You know, it wouldn't be bad to circle back with those guys, I would think, in
Sure.
6 months or something, to invite Dave back again, or see if we can't, and just see where they're at with their CLG process and stuff, maybe, rather than.
Like in
letting-
June?
Yeah.
See if they'll come back in June?
You guys good with that? Okay. Okay, 107 West Henrietta, any update there, Dave?
No, I'm kind of disappointed in those guys, but they found out, had some brutal realities like the roof leaking and having to replace the whole thing. They put a damper on them with that, but they're not gone. They kept things active. It's just, not moving like I would have expected.
Cool. Okay. Alrighty, and then we have Mrs. Voss's building, and you guys all got a copy of what Steve did here.
Thanks, Steve.
Um,
This
That
is
was
Pat Hill,
good.
but
Yeah.
Steve did a big job.
But with Steve having lunch dates with Perry, with Tony, and having some conversations, maybe there's some opportunity through some other means and seeing where their interest is with the Voss building as well. And in the meantime, my understanding from Aaron is that whole demolition thing is not, the city's looking into it, but it's quite complex. Quite complex.
Private property rights.
Right, and so it's not something that's going to go be gooped through a goose and get done.
We got time.
We got time because of that, and so it doesn't help that we have an owner of that building that's,
That's the
Absent
biggest-
at
That's the
best.
biggest problem right now, is the owner.
so I guess we just, okay.
You know, I posted some things on Facebook and the response was tremendous
Yeah, you
in the
do.
positive.
Mhm.
I've even had several people call my house that I don't even know, and I don't even know how they got my phone number, even though I've had the same phone number for over 50 years.
That's how they got it.
Total strangers have called me and offered to do whatever they can to help.
I don't know if you guys, Steve put out, there's a, are you guys on Facebook now? Okay. What's the name of that? If you're from Teller
Yeah,
County,
something like that.
if you're from Teller County,
Woodland Park, Teller County.
yeah, but if you're from, anyway, Steve puts historical stuff on there, and he put the Mrs. Voss's building on there, and he invited people to share any stories that they had about Mrs. Voss. And the number of responses is just off the charts, and stories about Mrs. Voss. And some of them are pretty funny.
Yeah. And there was nothing negative about the city or the owner or
No.
anybody.
Good.
That's
It was-
nice.
It was just all about Mrs. Voss in the building.
And, yeah. So there is an underlying support and recognition about what that building is and what it represents.
The building means a lot to a lot of people.
It does. So, having said that, we at least have some breathing room and some time, and we can continue. Maybe cultivate.
Quick aside, if you got anything there, I've been watching, Channel 21 News. They have the camera on the Dinosaur Museum focused right on that building every morning.
I understand they've changed the direction of that recently.
They changed a little bit, but it still shows up.
Does
Yeah, there's
it?
one on the
Great.
cultural
Then it
center.
went back. Yeah, they did one back, but there were also, it didn't go away either,
Linda wanted to say something.
just as an aside.
Yeah.
I've got my agenda here on my phone, so I can't go back and get the name of the person, but Steve and I are gonna be meeting with somebody from History Colorado at the Saving Places Conference to talk about opportunities in the future for funding for the city to purchase a building of that sort. I mean, it doesn't have to be that particular building. But we're gonna have set up a private meeting with her during the Saving Places Conference. I can't remember her name. Do you remember her name, Steve?
No, I don't.
Wendy, or I can't remember.
Oh, Winter,
Winter.
that's her first name.
Oh, Winter, okay.
Yeah, so we
First name's Winter.
will be meeting her in the end of January.
Okay, all right, cool. You know, more data. It's too bad that damn camera is focused right on that side of the building.
Well, part of the point of that is that's the image of Woodland Park to a whole lot of people that don't know
Oh, the
anything else.
building, which made me not see yeah, that's true.
I think we need to have our next meeting at the Vietnamese restaurant that he owns and just show up there. Right? It's a Vietnamese restaurant, right? That he owns in Colorado Springs?
Saigon Cafe.
Saigon Cafe.
It's right on the avenue in between Tejon and Cascade.
Okay, guys. Committee members' reports. Mr. Black.
I don't have mega, but when I did the home tour of Westwood Lakes, I was visiting with people I did not know personally, and that they made conversation. I asked, what should we do with the red building in town? And they were unanimous. It's gotta be preserved.
Oh,
Something,
good.
I mean, it's just
Yeah,
a random
yeah.
survey,
Yeah,
you know,
Sure.
and they wanted to talk about it, like Steve said. So just random, like had input, you know, it's not just a few people on the preservation committee wanting it done, but it's, people are out there and they want to know, as you said, what can they do? Is there anything they could do? So I said, no, it's still up in the air. And they said, well, they have to pump all that water out of that building and just get it going. I mean, they really wanted to visit, so it was all good. My home tour visit out in Westwood Lakes.
sounds nice.
Cool. Glad you did that.
I mean, it's just a random survey, you know.
But it's also just part of making people aware, because even though we have a small town with a paper, there's a lot of people who don't
Right,
pick that paper
that's all
up
I
too. Yeah, for sure. Cool. Thank you. Eric, anything?
I have nothing.
Sure, okay. So I'm gonna jump over here. David, anything else to share with us?
No,
Okay,
nothing in addition.
okay. Linda?
Nope, unless you want to meet my 91-year-old dad. It was just his birthday.
Okay, all right, thank you. And we know that the Ute has sold, and we know that they have applied for a liquor license, and they're calling it the Ute Lodge and Saloon, or something like that, I think, on the application that I saw come across at the city. I'm not sure where the lodge part comes in, but that's what the name they're using. So they must be moving forward pretty quickly to try to get the Ute open. So, and the Ute never got a designation. You know, the old post office has a designation and the Cowhand has. So I think we need to keep it on our,
Does
to
somebody,
get it designated.
do one of you guys want to reach out to the new owner? Or the committee
Mike, the
members?
sheriff?
you know, particularly share, they could get tax credits, since it's all involved with.
Yeah.
As an incentive, you know, that they probably don't know about all these things. I think it's a worthy thing.
I think Tony's involved with Meisel's in terms of talking to them, from what I understand, to see how many credits, and even getting some money back from the DDA to help with their endeavor. So, my personal thought is, let's just watch this for a little bit, for a couple months, and then figure out the best way to reach out to Mike Sills about it. That's what I'm thinking,
Give them time.
yeah, that's what
But also you want, I don't know how knowledgeable he is about the building or stuff, but you want to make sure that they know that it's a historic building and all that, so they don't go just ransacking stuff, or at least try to explain to them the importance of preservation. Because I think every time somebody buys a old building in this town, that your committee should write a welcome or something like that and tell them about the history of the building.
You're having lunch with Tony when?
We haven't decided yet, because I won't be back till after the 20th, so.
I'm just hearing through back channels that Tony is helping Mike Sills. And,
Well, I know myself,
I mean, he's got a history here, so at
Yeah.
least. It's
I know
not
him through
like-
my daughter. I know he'd sit down and meet with me, because we're pretty friendly with each other when we see each other. It's not like we're friends that see each other all the time, but
You know,
We'll look through our 2 inventories and we'll find or the 2 surveys. We'll find the information that goes with that building and we'll send it out to the committee as a whole. So you've got that piece handy.
and then if you reach out to Mike Sills, you'll have that at a minimum. But you know so much with Bert Bergstrom and the whole thing. God, I would hate to see them touch that bar and all that stuff.
yeah, the bar is really, it's a nice bar. The back bar is really nice.
Okay. I think a lot of people just have a lot of ideas right now, good,
Yeah.
bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
Okay, circling back around. Steve, do you have anything to share with us?
Nope, I did it
uh,
wrong. Out.
That's Steve first. I'll
Yeah.
I'll call you Smitty. How's that?
Just I hope we could do something with the Vaz building. I don't know if I should, since I'm not a member of this committee, if it would help or hinder us if I went before city council and just gave them a history of the building. Because a lot of people don't know the history, like just recently with Smitty. Some people think the building isn't that old or historic, and there's a lot of history to that building.
You know, Steve, you are a member in that you are the chairman of our special committee, special projects committee. And from that perspective, you're a member of the committee. So
Well,
we could ask you to do that on our behalf as a local historian, if you will. You know, if you don't speak up, you've been able to establish yourself with some credibility over the years, and that's huge.
Yeah, one of the premier historians, it says, I don't know who the other one is, but
yeah, that's not my wording, that's for sure. I just consider myself someone interested in history.
Does anybody have a problem if we have Steve, if he would like to get on the agenda and talk about the Voss building or talk about the Ute or just talk about some history to help bring people up to speed?
I think that would help.
Just to have more of a baseline place to ask questions.
I approve it. Do we have to have a motion?
Well, I think we just can have some consensus unless somebody has some real heartburn.
total support on it.
Okay, yes, yes,
Total
yes,
consensus.
It's done.
yes,
Done deal.
done. Okay, Steve,
So,
yes.
Steve, Mr. Smith, if you want to like coordinate getting that on coordinate that through Aaron and Sue's.
Well, let's wait till I have something written up.
But he can at least introduce the idea for
Okay,
you.
okay, as long as I'm not
Let's-
scheduled. to-
When I have
Yeah.
my one-on-one with Aaron,
You could at least
On
introduce the
Monday.
idea.
as I know Suzanne's already working up the packet and such.
Yeah, it wouldn't be
For
for this
next
meeting,
week.
but just,
Yeah.
yeah, introduce the idea for down the line.
Remember,
Yeah.
Steve's gone for a while here.
It,
But the idea that the Preservation Committee would like to help educate council as to what history is left here and help answer questions type of thing, I think.
I think that's what's highly needed,
Okay,
is it brought forward and then somebody knowledgeable can answer those questions.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Smitty, do you have anything?
No, I already did it.
You already did it, okay, cool, cool, all right. All right, so now we're down to CJ's report.
Yeah, the only big thing that I had is we got all signed up for the Saving Places conference, so you guys all should receive an email. We got Steve, Larry, Linda, myself. So did you guys all receive the email? I know I got a forward from you guys. Okay, perfect.
Did you get my response back for your receipt?
Yes, I did. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, so for some reason I didn't get a copy, and anyways, but I appreciate that, Linda and Steve, for sending me that email, and yeah, so it'll be a good time.
So just a question, just so I can understand. So we didn't sign up at the end of last year, because you didn't want it on the numbers for last year, on the budget, because we were budgeted for this year for it.
Correct.
Does the city not have a credit card to be able to hold things like that and pay the bill in the next year?
It goes with the date of purchase, the date of the charge. It's not the date the bill comes in, it's the date of the charge.
That's what
Yeah.
because those that wanted to stay overnight missed the early bird discount.
Yeah, and I personally, it's a lot easier when you make the own reservations and we just submit for reimbursement in the new year, in the future, because,
So maybe we learned something here
yeah.
to do it different. So we could still get the scholarships. Could we make the reservations ourselves, even having gotten the scholarships? Make the reservation, pay for it, and then submit after into
Yeah,
the next
because
year.
we don't receive the scholarship funds until after the conference. Whoever is using those scholarship funds has to write a report about what sessions they went to. So what sessions they went to, what they learned, a few other stipulations. So I'll be sending that to you guys as well. I have to write one up too. So so that just keep that in the back of your minds as well when you're going to these sessions at the conference, is take notes, and you're gonna have to write up a little blurb and what you
I didn't get a
learned.
scholarship, did I?
We're gonna be using the money on you, Larry.
Yeah, it's true. But, and I think it just helps us to understand, since it falls at the end of the year, how do we maximize the maximum discounts for everybody? That's all. Steve, what were you gonna say?
Well, I want to argue for Linda Allred there, who's taken time from her business. I spoke briefly to CJ about it last month. She can't drive after dark. She doesn't want to drive on icy roads if it snows. But some of the courses start at 4:45 and get over at 5:30. It's totally dark then. CJ suggested carpooling, which could work, but some classes are over with at 11. Say Larry and Linda went and they rode down together. Larry's first class might be at 8:15. Her first class might not be till 12:15. So what's she gonna do all the time she's down there so Larry can make his, and it's the same on the other end. If Larry's last class is at 1 and her last class is at 5:15, is Larry supposed to sit in the lobby or out in his pickup for 4 hours waiting for her to get over so that they could carpool together? And she is losing lots of money in her business by not being, the rest of us are retired, so it don't matter, but she still works and she's losing money by doing the city a favor by attending this, so it keeps with their CLG. And so I think that if somebody like her needs a room that's $137 if you apply early, I don't see why the city can't provide it for her.
So maybe going forward, the suggestion would be that we look at our budget numbers and allocate it maybe. It seems we have a lot of interest in the Saving Places stuff. So if we're going to cultivate that,
When the conference is further away, it's not an issue in terms of whether or not the city covers lodging. It is because of the proximity of this year's conference in Colorado Springs.
yeah,
That is stewards of taxpayer dollars. And I did check with Aaron about this, the city manager. He wasn't comfortable with spending taxpayer dollars for a hotel room for something that's 20 miles away. So that was the bottom line.
And for
where
what it's
that came.
worth too, the state wouldn't even allocate scholarship funds because of our proximity
Yes.
with
I
Colorado
understand
Springs
that.
too, so.
I
So,
understand that
if they're
100%,
back
but can you
in-
understand her situation?
Well, the requirement is that somebody from the group, and it can be a staff person, attends the conference on an annual, or some type of training on an annual basis. So there's a variety of training options they try to make available. We love that Linda goes, and I know she really enjoys the conference and such, but it's not a requirement that we're insisting she take time away from her business.
That's true.
If she said, I'm sorry, I can't do it this year, can somebody else step up? That's how that shakes out.
Okay.
But we are grateful that she does make the time. And I know she has a passion for all this. Like, I've seen it in terms of just even her report the first year she went to the conference. Her excitement when she came back and shared what she learned was definitely infectious in that particular report to us. So
I get all that. I really do. Okay.
and I understand your point,
Yeah.
Steve.
Especially the
like to-
carpooling thing, when there's so much time difference of people waiting on people.
Or potentially, yeah, or do you suck it up and go to a session you otherwise might not have gone to and learn something else, or, I mean, there's ways to work through all that.
Especially when it's only
20 miles away.
$100 though for a hotel room.
Yeah.
Okay, I just had to get that off my mind.
thank you. Anybody else have anything to get off their mind?
I'm just kidding.
All right, I guess we're adjourned. So you're in time for your cocktail hour with your,
No, I'm just in time for spaghetti and meatballs, Italian style.
okay, enjoy.
Thanks a lot.